the product should also excel, the product itself, and value and ease of use should be part of the product. There's a limit to what CSMs or customer success can do. It's eventually not a service you can give to thousands of customers.
Yeah.
And being in a company that has those two motions, it should be a synergy.
Hi there. This is Vijay Damojipurapu, and you're listening to the B2B Go-To-Market Leaders Podcast. The show where I go behind the scenes with top go-to-market practitioners to discuss their mindset and tactics. Hello there. Welcome to the latest episode of the B2B Go-To-Market Leaders Podcast. Today, I have with me a guest from Israel. I believe that this is the first time we are hosting a guest from Israel. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to have someone from Israel. That's only one aspect, but there's also a second aspect, which is, I believe, again, first time a guest who is coming from a customer success background. And as you know, if you have heard my podcast till now, for me, I believe go to market includes all the critical functions, including customer success. With that short context and Oreo, so let me introduce my guest and welcome. So, welcome to the show, Alan. Super excited to have you on the show.
Hi, Vijay. I think I'm even more excited than you are, and it's amazing to be here and be the first from Israel and customer success, and I hope many more to come after me.
Yeah, definitely. And all that means is it's going to be more fun, more engaging, more insightful for the listeners. So, with that, I'll again start off with my signature question, which is how do you view and define go to market?
So I love it when you ask this question, and I honestly I look at it as first as holistic strategy that kind of unites together product, marketing, sales, and of course customer success
Hmm.
in a way that ensures we eventually our solutions, our products that we build reaches the right audience and is able to generate value and business outcomes to our clients.
Yeah.
Now, I said strategy. I think also execution is a very big part of that as well. You got to have both.
Hmm.
So strategy and execution. And coming from customer success, I have to add the customer's success angle of this topic. I
Yeah.
would also say there's kind of four points I look at it from my perspective. One, as customer success, we need to understand the messaging our customers hear throughout the marketing funnel during sales. What are the expectations from the products that they purchase from us?
Hmm.
Um, the second and probably one of the most important points is aligning the onboarding as well.
Yeah.
What happens after the sales, that's on us, and
Right.
that has to be executed the best way possible. It's so easy to miss that critical point. We have to deliver value fast.
Right.
And to do that, you need to understand their expectations. What are they coming to get from your product
Hmm.
uh, in order to deliver the best onboarding experience, and obviously to get live and get value from the product as soon as you can. The third point is building the collaboration.
Hmm.
So I said the kind of the four main teams that are involved, but you have to build a very good collaboration. It never stops, and company that succeed has this good collaboration. We don't work in silos.
Yeah.
And the fourth point is crafting this journey. Customer success also, we don't operate in a vacuum.
Mm.
So we need to understand the entire journey. How does the company land the customer in? How do we build the onboarding, the adoption? How do we build the expansion, the upselling motion together with sales?
Yeah.
And obviously the renewal. So it's a never-ending journey. We still need marketing throughout this cycle. We need sales, account management. We have to think about this process as well. So that's my kind of summary of GTM, and this is how I look at it.
Yeah, love it. In fact, I'm so glad that we now have a customer success angle and lens to this, which was missing from the show until now. So that's bad on me, but I'm going to fix it going forward.
Mm.
The reason why I say I love to have a customer success angle, which you articulated so well, I believe in your points two, three, and four, especially. Right. The first one, pretty much everyone on the show talk about customer problem and building a product that solves the customer problems. I get it. Everyone gets it. I think that's a foundation, that's a prerequisite. But what's not been emphasized so far on this show are the points number two, three, and four. Points two around onboarding. So successful onboarding is critical. That's one for sure. The next is a collaboration. I mean, when you said collaboration, I was thinking external, which is customer success and the customers, but you also emphasized collaboration internally, especially with sales and product, and not so much on marketing, but I understand where you're coming from. And the fourth angle is thinking about the success of the customer, but at the same time, how you as a team, all of
Mm.
you can increase and should increase the adoption, which will
Yeah,
translate to upsell, renewal, and so on.
that's the base. And when I said collaboration, internal collaboration, that's where sometimes company miss.
Yeah,
So obviously our job is to collaborate with customer. That's the essence of customer success.
right.
But again, you have to build this partnership within the company as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, good leaders, they don't forget. This is what needs to be done as well. So it's not everything is on us. Not everything is customer success. Churn and renewal problems and expansion, that's a company goal. We are
absolutely.
the glue that kind of stick everything together.
Yeah. And something that I've started noticing, and I've been getting validation when I speak to other go-to-market leaders and even founders and execs, is to the detriment of the company's growth and even to the detriment of customer being valued. I see a lot of emphasis within the B2B go-to-market motion. A lot of emphasis is being placed on new logo acquisition, not so much on your existing customer base. Your thoughts on that, Alan?
You're so right. I have to say I see this shifting, and I see more and more understanding this. It used to be the situation a few years ago. I do see it shifts and change. There's a big realization that your existing revenue can generate much more, and I see more teams of account management and more collaboration between customer success and sales.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the biggest drivers for revenue as well. Again, it also depends on the size of the company and its
Mhm.
status. Obviously, for startups, you have to drive for new revenue to come in as well.
Sure.
But generating revenue from your existing customer base, by the way, in my view, it's not just for the revenue sake. If your customers are not growing,
Yeah.
there's a good chance they won't renew.
Correct.
So successful customers, they use your product, they need more features, more licenses. You have to build this growth as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I do see this shift. I think it's there. The understanding is already happening. The Where there's always a struggle or a dilemma is who driving the the upsell or the expansion motion.
Right.
Is it on the customer success managers? Is it on the account executives? Do you have to build an account management team? So that's a question, by the way. And by the way, I don't think there's a silver bullet to this question as well.
Hmm.
It depends on the state of your company, how big the company is, where you are in your journey, how complex your product. Wait, if your product is very technical, you want your CSMs to be technical as well. And at the end of the day, I see customer success, or at least the customer success manager's role, as a consultant, someone who brings value to the table. And to do that, you have to understand the product well. enough
Yeah.
and be able to advise. And if you're able to build this balance between consulting and pushing for the expansion eventually, then you're succeeding. And sometimes breaking those two apart,
Hmm.
or build a good partnership between a CSM or AM or an account executives,
Yeah.
then it works really well.
Yeah. No, that's a great point you mentioned, Alan, which is for a customer to be successful, the CS team has to act as trusted advisors. And that starts with having a good knowledge around the product and helping them get onboarded successfully and improve the adoption internally. Right. I know we can go down this rabbit hole more.
I just add, I think definitely the CSMs are in the best position to identify potential.
Mm.
They know their customers best. They're able to advise and know to find those opportunities.
Yeah.
Whether if they're eventually doing the commercial negotiation, that's a different topic. But they have to have this mindset of looking for growth. They have to.
Excellent. All right. I'm sure we'll get into a lot of those topics and sub points in the conversation ahead. Let's take a step back, going bigger picture and expanding the time horizon. So, why don't you walk our listeners through your career journey? I mean, what have you been doing? How you got into the field of customer success, and what led you to what you're doing today?
Great. So I have to say I always liked working with people, and I always loved technology. So I can say my career journey kind of took a surprising twist throughout my career.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but I did evolve a lot. So I studied industrial engineering, and a master degree in business.
Hmm.
And for me, industrial engineering was perfect. It's a kind of a broad degree that kind of gives you for a little bit of everything, which is always something that I liked. I like to spread out. And I started with implementing SAP, the SAP ERP, if you're
Hmm.
familiar with,
Yeah.
to customers.
Sure.
That really gave me the background of working with customers, implementing software. I think that was a really good first step in my career.
Hmm.
From that, I did big project management at Amdocs,
Yeah.
which really gives you it was probably a very good school for me, working in an enterprise organization, managing huge projects, many man month. This is how we used to measure those projects, and gives you really the tool set
Hmm.
uh, to move forward. Then I did kind of a twist. I felt I needed to increase my technological knowledge.
Hmm.
I'm a very big believer that you need to build a very good technical foundation. Even if you move and you change your career later on, I
Yeah.
think the foundation needs to be technical. At least for me, which that's something which is so I like understanding the technology.
Nice.
Uh, um, I did a few good years in ClickView. Now it's called Click, but I learned BI and how to model data sets and build
Hmm.
dashboards, which I have to say it's probably the best move I did in my career. Data is something that people always need to understand how to work with data, how to present, how to tell a story
Yeah.
with data. That's something that you will always need.
Yeah.
So even as a executive today, I always find myself telling a story using data, building those presentation to our management. So that's I'm really happy I took that decision back in the days.
Hmm.
Um, After that, I moved to Sisense. It used to be a startup competing with Tableau and Click as well.
Yeah.
I started off as a BI consultant, and back at those days, the whole customer success motion started to really grow.
Yeah.
And I was offered with the opportunity to actually move from the technical team to the account management team,
Yeah.
as we were building and transitioning it to customer success with all customer success practices.
Right.
And this is where I knew I need to do this shift. So I already gained enough technical background.
Right.
And I said, this is it. Now I'm going to jump into the business side of things
Mm-hmm.
with the advantage that I have, being the one that worked with the tool and really understands how it works.
Yeah.
Um,
And let me just pause, interrupt you over there, right? So,
Sure.
when you were at
That's
SiteSense, and this was about 10 years ago or so,
yeah.
and you're right. I mean, you correctly pointed out this was when this whole customer success movement
Mhm.
started gaining traction, thanks to Nick Meta, Gainsight, other products
Yeah.
specifically geared towards the customer success professionals. I think that was a big inflection point, if you will. So, from your time, I mean, at Sisense and even prior, if you can walk us through how customer success was there formally or informally, and then how it became more formal after that.
Yeah. So I have to say, first of all, it's a never-ending journey. So I can't say there's one point it was A
Yeah,
and then we shifted to B.
sure.
But back then when I started and joined the account management team, it was an account management team.
Mm,
Very reactive, very focused on taking a question from the customer when they want to expand, sending the quote, trying to find those opportunities, um, and less focus about being proactive and customer journey, making sure that we build the right partnership
yeah.
and really showcasing value and driving the partnership and the product implementation forward. And and actually joining that team and being there as we build everything from scratch.
Mhm.
So we build what today is pretty common, but back then it didn't exist.
Yeah.
We've designed the entire customer journey. What happens after kickoff? Who should be there? What should we present? How do we align on the strategy?
Hmm.
What do you ask? Who are the people that we need to talk to
Yeah.
during the journey? Who's the decision maker? Who is the champion? How do you map those contacts in your CRM?
Hmm.
Salesforce, by the way, if someone is curious. And then how onboarding should look like. Who's doing the onboarding?
Right.
Are we charging for that? Are we giving that for free? How many hours
Right.
should we? When are we starting to charge for that?
Yeah.
How do we end the onboarding? What are the onboarding goals?
Hmm.
Uh, and then later on, as customers finish the onboarding, how many times do we engage with a customer throughout the year? We divided the customers into tiers
Yeah.
as it's a practice. It's a common practice today to segment your customer base.
Right.
How do you find accounts with potential? How do you do the QBRs? When are you engaging for the renewal calls? So and then we obviously expanded as the company grew and we built professional services packages and additional services and workshop. The bigger your customer gets, the thicker the services and the processes around this get, the more complex projects that you get.
Hmm.
The customer success, by the way, it's definitely not just customer success managers, and I have to stress that. Customer success, I see it as an organization. It's
Mm.
customer success managers, it's support, it's
Yeah.
professional services, it's the engineers that are working with you.
Right.
So, and it takes a different flavor in each organization, and it's on us as leaders to craft this balance between the different team. Not necessarily you need all of them in every company. So
Right.
it depends, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So there are playbooks and there are processes, but taking that and building that to a specific organization, that's the art.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Um,
that's a great point, especially the last one that you mentioned, Alan, which is customizing. I mean, the playbooks, there are different sub functions even within a customer success, which you correctly said, right? Professional services, TAM, support, and so on, and engineers and CSMs. But then how do you customize it to a specific point in time for the product maturity is one thing, the
Mhm.
company maturity, the competition, which is the external angle, and also the market opportunity. It's all of these things combined. And that's
Yeah.
how I also map this whole go to market. So for me, go to market is never static.
Mhm.
It's ongoing, it's iterative. You need to keep updating it and customizing. And I'm hearing the same thing applies for customer success function as well.
Yeah. So definitely you start, and that's definitely tied to the status of the company.
Yeah.
As a small startup, you start getting these customers, you're doing everything manual. The bigger you get, you're building the processes, you're building the automations. Once you're starting to get the enterprise accounts, this is also where that's a big leap forward as
Hmm.
well. Enterprise accounts, that's a different motion. You need to have a team, you need to have the processes around it. You need to have the data as
Yeah.
well. So, but if you have one, it's different than you have tens of those
Right.
type of customers. So
Yeah.
as your
And when you
company
say
grows,
enterprise account, how do you define enterprise account? Because it even that definition varies.
you're right, by the way. So one, obviously, I would look on the size of organization that you work with. So everything above the 1,000, 2,000 employees, usually those companies has different needs, different expectation, different processes, by the
Hmm.
way. It takes things longer. Um, you have security restrictions, compliance that you need
Right.
to be aware of as well. They have their timelines, their rollouts. It's harder to do things faster sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and they also pay a bigger bill.
Hmm.
So their demands are bigger.
Yeah.
And they have bigger expectation, which is it's pretty understandable.
Right.
Um, and you have to accommodate that. It's not just a one-man show from our side, usually.
Mhm.
You have to build a team in order to successfully roll out a solution. You need
Yeah.
to have project managers. Sometimes those companies they have expectation for a certain level of service as well.
Got it.
And you have to be ready for that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Fair enough. I know
Yeah.
I interrupted you. Let's go back to the original track, which is your journey. And you're talking about your time at Sisense. And then what happens since Sisense and the transition?
So at Tyson, I led the department of customer success team.
Hmm.
I, by the way, I also fulfilled one of my dreams, which was to try and be a product manager
Nice.
for a
Yeah.
couple of years.
Uh-huh.
It was always a kind of dream of mine, and I have to say I liked it a lot. I learned a lot about sprints and how to design and how to plan ahead your year, your quarter, so much.
Right.
But for me, it's customer success. At the end of the day, I realized that I love creating impact,
Mhm.
and I think customer success is one of those unique roles that you can create impact almost every single day
Mhm. Yeah.
because you're in the heart of the business. You're this glue between customers and product and R&D and sales, and the feedback that you can give, you can influence the product a lot. If you build a great partnership with product,
Right.
you can influence a lot, and the
Yep.
impact that you can do on your customers daily,
Mhm.
that's priceless.
Yeah.
So that's I learned a lot, but then I came back to customer success.
Mhm. Got it.
um, I worked at two more startups. Since then, I scaled the customer success team. I built them from scratch. I joined Czech in almost the last 3 years. Also building the international customer success team and pre-sales team, the international team. And in the last year, I've been VP customer success at Atera with a very unique opportunity, at least for me, a career-wise. Atera, it's an interesting story because the company actually shifts from a PLG motion to an SLG motion.
Got it.
So what drew me kind of to Atera is actually rebuilding a
Mhm.
customer success
Right.
team. So when I joined, I already had a big team here, but it's all geared towards PLG. and taking such a team and redesigning it to cater mid-size enterprise accounts, that's building from scratch. And I'm a builder eventually, and that's I really enjoy what I do, and this is probably the most exciting challenge I'm doing this day. So that's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that transition from PLG to laying sales in addition to PLG. I mean, assuming you guys kept PLG, but you're laying
Yeah,
heading sales on top.
yeah, hmm,
That's a pretty complex journey in itself,
yeah,
right? In fact, I remember at my time at GoSite a couple of years ago, where I was the interim product-led growth leader uh,
hmm,
over there. So we were in that transition from inside sales, pure inside sales, to PLG, and then PLG and laying over sales.
hmm.
That transition is complex and
And
something that I,
you kept them in parallel?
yeah, that was the intent, at least the PLG and doing sales over. But of course, it takes time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, even getting a new go-to-market motion like PLG takes a year at least,
Yeah.
because it involves rewiring the internal functional teams, that data product team, and so on.
Yeah.
There's also the growth team that has to come in place. And then there's a key element which I kept emphasizing as my time over there, which is for PLG. When you're in the product-led growth motion, before your account or your users actually decide to become a customer, decide to open the wallets and pay, there should be a layer which is not sales, but very customer success like.
Hmm.
So that's a key emphasis that I made over there. So your thoughts on how you're dealing with that in your current role, or how did you handle those challenges?
Yeah, so it's definitely a challenge beside changing how people think and operate within the customer success. By the way, we've built two organizations, one for the PLG motion and one for the SLG one.
Mhm.
But I think there is a very, actually, I think we're lucky to have these two motion. I'm a very big believer that the product should also excel, the product itself,
Yeah.
and value and ease of use should be part of the product. There's a limit to what CSMs or customer success can do.
Sorry.
It's eventually another service you can give to thousands of customers.
Yeah.
And being in a company that has those two motions, it should be a synergy. So the capabilities and the tools that we build for PLG, we can use that in SLG. Obviously, it has to come with a strategy and how do we apply those communications and product tutorials and
Mhm.
all the materials that we create for PLGs.
Yeah.
Even SLG and even enterprise accounts, they have end users.
Right.
And reaching out to those end users, that's something a CSM would never has time to do.
Mhm.
And that's I think would be the breakthrough. It's also, if we're talking about how AI eventually is affecting departments, I see it also affects customer success and especially those the PLG and communication with also with the SLG users. So I see it kind of being brought together as we evolve as a company, and not just us. I think in the future that it's a lot of best practices how to use scale methods with high touch accounts as well.
Yeah. I know we'll get more into the nuances. We kept that
Yeah.
at a very high level. So let's actually get into more of the tactical stuff also. And let's do that in the context of a go-to-market success story and a go-to-market pivot story. I'll let you choose what you want to lead with, Alan. But if you can share one of each, that'd be good.
So let's talk about a success story. Let's
Okay.
start. So I think I would kind of share a recent example that I had in
Hmm.
Atera, actually.
Okay.
And for us, it's very tied to onboarding. or if I need to even to be more accurate, it's something that we call re-onboarding.
Okay.
So as we grew from PLG, we did do onboarding, but not as, let's say, not the best way possible. So as I joined, we also redesigned how onboarding should look like. We mapped the critical features, critical steps, and what makes a successful onboarding, and what are those sticky features.
Mhm.
Uh, what are our best and strongest features that eventually bring the most value to customers?
Yeah.
We map that, and we basically define how onboarding should look like.
Yeah. So what is onboarding like before you started this initiative, like from a metrics point of view, and why you as a leader and a leadership team decide to go down this path?
So it was more like a training.
Okay.
Onboarding was a product overview, confined for 3 months. You go through the product training, and you're done.
Wow.
And yeah, and we basically redefined that. We changed. We have now onboarding goals. We have success criteria, as we have targets, and we align that with customers as well from day one.
Nice.
And we track this checklist, and you can't finish onboarding before you finished the goals that we've set.
Yeah.
But and as part of this process as well, we actually realized that we have so many customers that supposedly finished the onboarding,
Onboarding, but adoption
but
is
they're not
very low.
successful yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we actually started this initiative. We call it re-onboarding, and we call it a Delta Force, and started re-onboarding
Mm-hmm.
custom, approaching them proactively, offering to do health checks and reevaluation of the implementation,
Yeah.
to kind of catch up and see if there's any projects that we missed. And that created a really big impact.
Yeah.
And today it's actually a service that we do as part of the journey.
Got it.
So the post onboarding, and for customers that are with us for a while, we're doing this health check and helping our customers to kind of revamp their implementation and see if there's additional value, additional features that we released during this time that we can help them out. So
Got
that's
it.
a really success story for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So what were the metrics? Like how were you measuring impact both internally for you guys as well as for the customers themselves?
So that's an easy one. It's renewal rates.
Okay.
And we see the impact, and we actually improved our renewal rates dramatically over the past year.
Got it. And how long was this initiative or the program? How long did it take to even corral the team, identify what needs to be done? How will you measure change, the beta customers, and yeah, walk us through that process as well.
So evaluating, or at least defining onboarding, took us, I would say, around a month.
Okay.
And then launching it wasn't that slow. We took our best person back then, the most technical one. He started running those re-onboarding. Now it's a team of 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say executing that took pretty fast.
Yeah.
But since then, it took, let's say, around 4 months to increase this team that is doing these onboarding, re-onboarding.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you guys have like a target or quota of X number of customers onboarded per month or per quarter?
Yeah, so we actually have a number of open slots of
Okay.
re-onboardings that we can and want to handle, and we're prioritizing that. So
Yep.
our CSM directors and team leads, they know how many accounts they can add
Right.
each quarter, in each month, and we need to prioritize them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with the hope that eventually this number is also decreases, because while we're doing these projects, the new onboarding is also running in parallel, so that should stabilize. By the way, you also asked me about metrics. So renewal rates are great, but that's the end results. Another metric that we're building is also adoption scoring.
Right.
um, and that's a tricky one. The way we do it today is we actually look on a few parameters of key features in the product and try to assess
Yeah.
how well the customers are using the product. It's not easy.
Mhm.
It varies between size of the organization, the type of customer, the industry.
Yeah.
We have quite a broad scope of customers' sizes and shapes and industries.
Yeah.
So we do it subjectively, but we also we're actually using we're doing a few POCs with AI tools eventually to try and build this score in a better way. But that's kind of the holy grail I'm hoping to get to in the coming months.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you said adoption, which is key. You guys started measuring that. Your team started measuring that. And after that, obviously translated to the trading indicator, the KPI, which is
Yeah.
renewals. So your renewals went up by what, X percentage? Like, can you give like just a percentage?
Double the I can't say exactly, but yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
And over what, a period of 6 months or 12 months?
within let's say 2 quarters, yeah, 6 months.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
cool. No, that's great. I mean, that's definitely the key, right? How I see it, Alan, is, I mean, from an external perspective, all these are like table stakes. To your credit, when you came on board and you noticed that onboarding was defined as training, but that really didn't translate into customers really being successful.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know how training goes. I mean, sure, everyone is excited that you signed up for training, and especially if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of training. By the end of day one or even day two, you're tired, you're exhausted. People dread going to trainings, and imagine people, your customers, the users, actually taking the learnings and looking to apply that. That's a huge gap.
Yeah. And it's also different between a customer to customer. And by the way, I don't training as itself can be easily replaced with in product tutorials or
Exactly.
documentation or academies. Although I'm not the biggest fan of documentation and NKBs. I think people less and less are eager or excited to see those. I actually think it also needs to move as much as possible to be within the product.
Right.
Um, but trying to take the essence of the onboarding is it's more about consultancy,
Mhm.
understanding what the customer is trying to achieve and help them implement that in the product.
Yeah.
We have a goal. Each onboarding, depending on the size of the account and the product that we're purchased, to reach an X amount of successful use cases.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
and that's different than training, just going over the product, but that doesn't mean anything if nothing is being used or implemented in the right way.
Yeah. So great story. Congratulations to you and the team on that. So going to the second, which is like a go-to-market failure, but I wouldn't really call it a failure. It's more like a pivot story. So if you can share that, let's go with that as well, Alan.
I think it's more of it's a pivot that it took me a while, also within Atera, to change the perception of customer success within the company,
Hmm.
um, which wasn't easy, by the way. Um, being born in the PLG motion,
Right.
the the way the customer success organization was being looked at as call makers or email senders, and every time there was an initiative, there's a webinar that we're doing or an event, or we need case studies.
Yeah.
Let's have the CSM start a project, start picking up the phones and sending out emails
Yeah.
as they've been used as a call center, if I need
Right.
to
Yeah.
illustrate how
Yeah.
that looks.
And I can imagine all those requests coming mainly from marketing team, especially for case studies.
Yes, always. And it still happens from time to time when there's an initiative or a change we need to implement, and
Right.
then let's have the CSMs to reach out all the customers and ask them X.
Yeah.
And within the SLG motion or the high touch motion, we can't do it.
Right.
when a CSM approaches a customer, it has to be very accurate. It can be automated emails. It can be generated. We can't approach them every week with a
Yeah,
different message or a marketing campaign. This
correct.
is not why we're here for. It's abusing our name, our reputation, and the connection that we're trying to build with the customer. We have to use this carefully. And there's other ways and methods to reach out customers.
Right.
So that's a pivot we needed to change. It took a while, but happily we succeeded to do that as
So
well.
how did you? So actually, let's double click. That's a very important transition that you made there. First is what was it within you that didn't sit well? There is that personal pain or angst or anger that you would have felt for sure. That's one thing. Second is how did you bring about that change and how did you influence the other teams?
So first, if I have to, being a CSM in the past, you know how painful it is
Yeah.
to get a customer to reply. They have thousands, not thousands, so they have tens of vendors. Everybody's trying to get their attentions. They have BDRs.
Right.
You have to position yourself as the expert. For someone myself, I barely have time to read emails. If my contact vendor that I'm using will send me an email every week about something,
Yeah.
I would stop opening his emails
Correct.
because I know it's automatic. I know it's generated.
Right.
And again, I'm separating between PLG and high touch accounts. So it was very clear for me. For someone who's managing customer success, it's easy.
Right.
For other people in the organization, it's not necessarily something they even think about.
Yeah.
You're coming from marketing or sales and you're thinking about a pipeline. Even within sales, you have the BDRs that generate the leads. You look at things as a pipeline.
Right.
And for high touch customer success, it's different. It's the last thing you think about customer success to be a pipeline.
Right.
And and I needed to do some convincing. So it wasn't just about why not. It's also presenting alternatives. And there are alternatives you can do. We can send those emails for marketing, you can do in product campaigns as well. And we shifted that.
Yeah.
Um, and we're trying to keep those CSMs for the things that matter,
Mm-hmm.
um, and also to do planning ahead of time. So we know if there's an important initiatives, we would start pulling or pushing the efforts within the QPRs, within the meetings that we have, and not sending an email a few days before. And that's a shift we needed to.
Got it. Okay. So obviously you had to have some tough conversations with the marketing counterpart, marketing leadership, and possibly even sales leadership and product leadership, I would assume.
Yeah, again, I don't see it's tough. At the end of the day, it's our job. It's about building a case. It's
Right.
convincing. So when you present the data, when you present a plan, then it should work. Again, it's it makes sense
Yeah.
to everyone.
Right.
Of course, while we are reaching the goals and we're getting the customers to where we want them. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the storyline, so that's the pivot that you had to change the culture and the
Mhm.
perception of customer success within the company,
Yeah.
right? And how did you really measure? I don't know if there's a way to measure, or was it just anecdotal where people started approaching you and your team from a different angle?
It's anecdotal, but it's actually a KPI that I used to measure in my past companies. I haven't introduced it here, which I might do in the future, but CSMs usually they have their targets as well. There's and those targets usually are broken into several KPIs.
Hmm.
This is a KPI I like to call it advocacy.
Okay. Yep.
And usually advocacy is kind of, it could be a mixture of a few initiatives. How many case studies are you able to bring? References for sales, appear in an event your company and doing it, etc. And Actually, I really like this KPI because I think a CSM that was able to drive adoption and make their customers successful,
Yeah.
and B, also build a good relationship, that
Hmm.
he's able to ask the customer for this favor, so-called,
Right.
and you succeeded in both. So he should be good in generating those advocacy tasks as well.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you brought up advocacy because one of the things that I look at and which are real clear indicators of a good and happy customer base is advocacy. We can talk about onboarding, we can talk about adoption, we can talk about renewals, and then NRR at the end of the day, all of these bubbling to NRR.
Mhm.
But then how many advocates are there within your customer base who are willing to vouch for you and your team and your product?
Yeah,
That's a real important KPI.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's something a company should manage. If you really want to build a good pipeline, you need to manage that. You need to make sure that you don't abuse your customers as well,
Right.
and also make it work for them to be an advocator. There's advocacy programs that you can build, and it's definitely something a company should see how she's focused on it and build this process.
Yeah. So for me, throughout my conversations across different spectrums of people that include like founders as well as the go-to-market practitioners. So I also am very closely engaged with founders, like early stage founders and even founders who are at like 5 million, 10 million.
Mhm.
So one thing that I noticed, Alan, is founders, they know the value of advocacy. That's crucial, especially in the early stages of company building. You need to have reference and advocacy. That's a clear growth engine. But somewhere along the line, as the company grows from 1 million to 5 million, 10, 50, and so on, that essence gets diluted.
Yeah.
So,
And that's understandable because you transition from keeping those handful of advocates that have been with you from day one.
yeah,
They've been your design partners. It was easy for you to build a very strong relationships because you're the CEO, you're the founder.
right.
It was easy to ask for a favor. And by the way, those people as early adopters, they like it also. So I would always have, if I love the product I'm using, I would love to assist, especially if I was very so early in the stage and I help shaping it and I
Correct.
believe
Correct.
product.
Yeah.
But as you grow, they don't have this close relationship. The customer management is transitioned to the customer success team,
Yeah.
and you have to manage it. It's all about scaling, and I talked before about execution. This is exactly it. This is execution.
Mhm.
You're jumping a grade. You need to mark your candidates, sorry, your advocators in your CRM. You need to make sure that you don't abuse them. You need to make sure that you're working to create those advocators,
Yeah.
and it has to worthwhile also for the CSMs
Right.
because it's asking a favor from a customer. So your CSMs also have to being compensated, or it has to be part of their targets or some sort of an initiative or incentive for them to build that. So you have to keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. Great point. So throughout your customer success journey, I mean, you started off in a from a SAP implementation role, and then you moved into TAM, and then eventually customer success. You moved to product management briefly, but again back to customer success. So in this entire journey of yours, Alan, what like what almost broke you down or broke you in this journey?
Wow, it's I'm a person that's it's hard for me to be broken, I have to say.
Yeah.
Um, I think the toughest for me back in my career, or at least the few stages back, was when I was in a small startup that didn't grow. So
Mhm.
I actually joined a small startup right before they were supposed to raise their first big round,
Yeah.
and I joined to build the team.
Mm.
And I came with such big plans, and we need the head of support, and we need a team of onboarding manager, and we need the CSM, etc.
Yeah.
But the funding didn't came.
Oh, wow.
Uh, mm, and it's hard because you're coming for a specific role, and it doesn't happen. And I'm not a person that gives up so easily. But eventually, after almost a year, you realize that this is not what you signed for. So
Mm.
you have to take the right decision, what is best for you as well. So
Yeah.
I think that was at least one of the hardest decision I had to take. But I think at the end of the day, it's a decision everyone has to take in their career as well and do what's
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
what was the learnings or insights that came to you from that journey?
Wow, a lot. There's the way I choose the next my at least my companies that I work for. I think I learned a lot from that. The size of the organization, the funding that they have, how I look about the product, and how they generate revenue. By the way, is it coming from services? Is it reoccurring era from licenses? So there's a lot of metrics that I know how to look on today.
Yeah.
Uh, which I didn't know 10 years ago.
Nice. I know we're coming up against the time over here. So, last couple of questions for you, Alan.
Sure.
One is like, what is really s- uh, maybe a trend or something within the customer success space that's really caught your attention that you're really curious about and you want to go down that path?
It's an easy one, and I have to say
AI.
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I know everyone is obsessed about that, and I really try to look at it not as the hype motion, yeah, AI is gonna replace everyone in the next guy. I'm not really a believer, especially, you know what, not in customer success, and definitely not in the high touch motion of
Mhm.
customer success.
Yeah.
But for me, honestly, I think I'm grateful that I'm in this position that I can really do something new. So putting aside that I'm also rebuilding this team now at Atera, if you're now a leader of customer success, it's a rare opportunity to do something that nobody has done before.
Mm.
And even in, I have to say, in customer success, it's even harder. There are certain departments within the go-to-market motion that there's already best practices and there's an abundance of tools
Yeah.
that are already being used. In customer success, it's just starting, and you don't have these playbooks yet, and you don't have the products yet that I envisioned, and reshaping and thinking how customer success gonna is gonna be transformed in the next few years. That's a huge opportunity, and I'm grateful also that my company understand that, and I'm giving the mandate to design and operate in order to achieve this transformation. Obviously, we have our goals as well. You want to be efficient and you want to scale
Right.
in an efficient way. Um, but I truly believe it could. This is the point where customer success is about to transform and have their next big shift. If customer success was born with the SaaS motion, this is the next
Right.
jump.
Yeah.
And I talked before a little bit about communicating better with end users.
Mhm.
I have to say this is where I think we were able to make a dramatic change, because
Yeah.
we in high touch still you don't have time to reach end users, and AI could help us understand data better, building customer success plans better, and creating plans that I see it in a way that it will be a hybrid between high touch and scale, and
Mhm.
allowing high touch CSM
Yeah.
being able to execute their strategies and reach eventually in a personalized way to the end users as well, and driving adoption. And we all know how adoption is important, and adoption obviously leads to growth
Yeah.
and retention and etc.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, great point. I mean, I love the fact how you actually double clicked on what really mean by AI in customer success, and there's so many nuances in there. So yeah, I look forward to hearing more from your team and from you downstream in how you're bringing and incorporating AI in customer success. So final question for you, Alan, is if you were to turn back the clock and you could go day one of your go-to-market journey, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Be patient. I'm a very eager and competitive person,
Yeah,
and when you started, well, at least when I started the career, you're always thinking, okay, what's next? How I'm going to develop myself? How am I gonna get to the next bigger role? And it's really a journey. I think every role that I did, I learned, and you to be good at what you do. I don't believe in jumping from a junior role to a very senior role. The mileage that I did, I learned so much. The complex projects that I had, the scenarios,
yeah,
dealing with all of that is what brought me to what I am today. So, but back then, you're not sure. Will I able to make the next jumps? When will I do it? So
right.
it's being patient and just tell myself you're on the right path. Maybe buy some stock options of Nvidia or Bitcoin
Yeah,
back then, but that's about
that's a whole different story.
yeah.
Very good. Yeah, that's a great point to end on. Be patient, and yeah, growth and success will eventually come in your journey. So, thank you so much for your time, Alan. I enjoyed the conversation, especially the fact that you are the first customer success leader in the podcast. I personally learned so much, and I'm sure the listeners who are especially focusing on customer success would enjoy and value this conversation as well. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, Vijay. It's a great honor to be here. I'm a big fan, and thank you so much.
Hi there. Thank you for listening to this episode of the B2B Go-to-Market Leaders Podcast. I have all of the show notes and a full transcript on strativ.com. STRATYVE.com. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get a podcast. Leave a rating and a review. Your comments will help other go-to-market professionals find this podcast.